But Sheikh Hasina controversially scrapped that arrangement in 2011 in Bangladesh. Firstly, is it possible to have elections in this atmosphere?
Actually, BNP is more popular than Awami League now.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম। বাংলাদেশের চলমান রাজনীতি নিয়ে আল জাজিরা করেছে আরেকটি প্রতিবেদন। কোন দিকে যাচ্ছে বাংলাদেশের রাজনীতি? আমরা আপনাদেরকে কথা দিয়েছিলাম আল জাজিরা যখনই কোনো প্রতিবেদন করবে সাথে সাথে আমরা আপনাদেরকে দেখানোর চেষ্টা করব। তাই এই মুহূর্তে এই ভিডিওটি আপনাদেরকে প্রথম থেকে শেষ পর্যন্ত দেখার অনুরোধ করছি। ভিডিওটি না দেখলে অনেক কিছুই মিস করবেন। চলুন আমি কথা না বাড়িয়ে আপনাদেরকে আপনাদের সেই কাঙ্ক্ষিত ভিডিওতে নিয়ে যাই।
So any boycotting of the elections, I just want to clarify one point with you. Any election where the opposition parties have boycotted it, that election is going to have real doubts as to its legitimacy, isn't it?
Exactly. And if you look at the political history of Bangladesh, in 1988, the election was boycotted by opposition parties. One is pre-caretaker government, another one is post-caretaker government. So in the pre-caretaker government, all the elections were held under the political party-led government. And all those parliament failed actually to complete its tenure. Not a single parliament could succeed to complete its tenure. If you look at the election held under caretaker government, all the parliaments actually succeeded to complete its tenure. The only one comparison tells you about the comparative acceptability of the caretaker system.
But Sheikh Hasina controversially scrapped that arrangement in 2011. Instead, she's appointed a special election time coalition. With her at its head, the administration can oversee the polls. Activists have detonated dozens of homemade bombs and blocked roads, railways and waterways as part of a 48-hour nationwide shutdown. 9 people have been killed since Monday's election announcement, but there's been political violence for months now, with more than 300 deaths so far this year. Until
clashes with police, opposition and ruling party number of death toll is rising. What seems to concern the general population here is the level of violence, and mostly coming from the divisional towns of the country rather than in the Dhaka city. There is no sign of compromise in the horizon, no negotiation. Yesterday, members of the civil society, some prominent people met the president to voice their concern and come to some understanding between the opposition and the ruling party. However,
a potent mix of anger and bitter political rivalry, fueling street protests, attacks and strikes across the country. Bangladesh is in crisis because of its upcoming election. But how much is down to the personal rivalry between two headstrong leaders? This is Inside Story.
From the Constitution.
But Sheikh Hasina did invite the BNP to join her all-party government, didn't she? The BNP said no.
No, the BNP did not say no. When she invited, under all this pressure from the people, from the opposition party, but she is going to remain as the head of the caretaker government, which we do not want, because we know very well that under the the leadership of Sheikh Hasina, any sort of interim government or caretaker government will not be fair, because according to Constitution, the Prime Minister has got, obviously extra power.
So Mahidor Syed is saying this is democracy. No other country appoints a caretaker government for an election, so why on earth should you complain about it happening in Bangladesh?
Well, let me tell you, first of all, every country differs according to their political culture, according to their political systems. Bangladesh is a different country, different political culture. We have different views. Considering
do want a caretaker government, and that the government succeeds when there has been elections under caretaker governments, and by and large do not succeed when there is no caretaker government. So is the Awami League dooming Bangladesh to more election unrest?
If BNP leader do think the poll is in favor of them, why they are afraid to come to the election? Under the present government, Sheikh Hasina's government, more than 5,000 election has constituted. There were no single complaint.
Leaders Sheikh Hasina and Khalida Zia. Now, these are two women who cast a very long shadow over Bangladeshi politics. Sheikh Hasina, the country's current Prime Minister, and her rival, former Prime Minister Khalida Zia, are both battling to be the country's next leader.
Languages. Even she did not phone her back. The Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, to resolve this problem, in a meeting, she requested Begum Jia's acting secretary, Mirza Fakhrul Islam, why not use sit down at the secretary level?
Syed, can I ask you, I just want to move this on. I want to include the war crimes tribunals that you mentioned earlier. Critics say the war crimes tribunals are politically motivated and are being used to deliberately target Sheikh Hasina's political rivals. What do you say to that?
This is not politically motivated. This is not about the rivalry. This is about the victims. Those who are the victims, they are the witness. That's they wanted to.
দেখেছেন আল জাজিরার ডকুমেন্টারি প্রতিবেদন। যদি মনে করেন এই ভিডিওটি শেয়ার করার প্রয়োজন, তাহলে আপনাকে অনুরোধ করব ভিডিওটি এক্ষুনি শেয়ার করুন আপনার প্রিয় বন্ধু বান্ধবের সাথে, ফেসবুক, হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ, ইমো, মেসেঞ্জারে। আর আপনি যদি আমাদের চ্যানেলের নতুন দর্শক হয়ে থাকুন, তাহলে প্লিজ এখনই সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন এবং পাশে থাকা বেল আইকনটি অন করে দেন সবার আগে আমাদের চ্যানেলের ভিডিও পেতে। আজ এই পর্যন্ত, দেখা হবে পরবর্তী ভিডিওতে। ততক্ষণ পর্যন্ত সবাই ভালো থাকুন, সুস্থ থাকুন। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।